Hey everybody, this is your boy Legend Muyui. I am back for another playthrough of Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall. I had a bit of some snafus last time that I was playing, so I'm going to try to get all those corrected. So let's test. I think I got my mic going on. Let's expand this to my mains. Okay, so there we go. So you guys can actually see what I was doing. I think the last a few weeks I was being a little bit too hasty, so it didn't come out. One week the sound wasn't there, and the other one it wasn't showing the game because I forgot to hit a button. Oh well. Anyway, there wasn't much that was missed though. I mean, I finished off the mission that I was on, and I believe once we finished midway through the mission, there was a situation where my Shadowrun, the runners that were running with me were having, an existential crisis, where their illegal activity was too much illegal, and so they didn't want to actually go ahead with it. But I stuck to my guns. Was like, well, if we're doing something illegal, we're just going to do something illegal. We're not going to worry about it. So I think I ended up back in the cruise bazaar. So we're about to find out. The rest of the trip home is uneventful, but one thing is clear: someone is hunting you. This ambush was no chance gang warfare, but an organized attempt on your life. If Green Winters was right, then whoever killed him is now after you. The PDA that you retrieved from the attacker may hold some answers. It's time to return to your safe house and consult Paul Amsel. And I think I was running around town, just talking to people, because, that's what I do. I'm going to make sure everyone in my cruise bazaar is doing well. I think last time I talked to Samuel, we kind of paid the max amount, and now everything is set up. So I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna talk to everyone. Then I'm gonna go back in, talk to Paul, find out what's going on. So I'm gonna talk to Lane. Okay, so I did talk to Lane last time because nothing else is to be said. I'm gonna travel up this way. Simi, I think she's a drug head, but talk to drug heads. Everyone needs Jesus. But I'm not spreading Jesus. I'm just, a guy who is taking over. I'm going to go down here. Der Weinkeller. No, I think that's wine cellar in German. I'm not sure. I'm going to check with my German friend. Der Weinkeller. So we're going to talk to Lucy Strike, see what she's got to say. Lucy Strike raises an eyebrow at your approach. A burning cigarette dangles between the fingers of her right hand, and she holds a glass of scotch in her left. I guess that's supposed to be appealing or something like that. I think that's kind of... I think women who drink has a vice that is very bad. It's not appealing. Plus, Anchor, fancy seeing you again. Yeah, well, I was hoping that you'd want to chat. I was just passing through. I was bound to happen sooner or later. I live here, and I like to drink as much as the next guy. Well, I'm not that person. I was just passing through. That's probably the most honest. I was hoping that you'd want to chat. She doesn't look like the chatting kind, but I mean, that's kind of flirtatious. Yeah, I just want to know if you wanted to talk. I was just passing through. I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, sure. Just decide to waltz through a mostly deserted dive bar on your way from point A to point B. She smirks. Sounds plausible, but whatever. Was there something that you wanted to talk about? Been finding much work recently. Is the bartender here any good? I gotta run. I really want that. I really won't ask her about bartending, but so I'll keep it cordial about work. Yeah, but the cruise bazaar isn't the best place to do it. There aren't tons of jobs out here if you don't have a network. You don't have people in the cruise bazaar. You have a network. Me. I don't know. That's kind of. Oh yeah, we can talk. Get my number, type of thing. I mean, she looks like she's cool. She got a katana on her. That's kind of cool. Let's see what that goes. She smirks. That's funny. Sorry about that. She smirks. Not quite. You're a client, not a friend. No offense, mind you, but my crew is back in the might, and we're doing just fine on the job front. So while she's here, she gestures with her cigarette. The tip glows red, and then in the gloom, I mostly visit your lonely little case between runs to restock and relax. It's a good place for that. Nice and slow pace. She pauses for a moment to search for the to search for a word. Quaint. Don't suppose you'd be interested in taking a permanent position on my team? Is that a possibility? It's a nice enough place, but I don't know if that's the word I'd use. Just try this. I don't think it's possible, because if she has some people, you don't just ghost on your fellow runners. Don't suppose I would. Like I said, I got a team of my own, see? Good people who would earn my loyalty 100 times over. I can do a little moonlighting here and there, but they wouldn't take it kindly if I up and bailed on them. Well, no one would, not in this world. She takes another sip of scotch. Better that it stayed like this. If you need me for a run, I'm available. You just need to pay me first. Keep things clean and simple. Bartender's over there, so I guess I can ask. There's like no one around, so. Nope. It's called Der Wine Keller for a reason. The guy behind the bar is more like a Bush League sommelier than he is a proper bartender. Knows a bit about wine, but when it comes to mixing drinks, he's useless. If you want to drink, I'd recommend sticking to something simple and try ordering something with more than 2 ingredients, and you're asking for trouble. So you're a wine drinker then? Me? No. Never developed a taste for it. Excuse me. She tilts her glass, swirling a amber liquid inside. I'm not a big fan of sweet things. Never have been. Not even when I was a kid. I always preferred smoke. So I probably would ask the same question. You know, if you don't like wine, why hang out in a wine bar? Because it's usually empty in here, and I don't like to be bothered. And as hopeless as the bartender is, excuse me, it's tough to mess up scotch if you order it neat. Now, do you have any other questions? Or, yeah, I gotta run. She don't want to talk. Yeah, see you. Yep, doesn't look like she wants to chat, so we won't keep her too long. But yeah, why would you hang in a wine cellar if you don't drink wine? Interesting. Let's talk to Simi, see what's going on. The girl with the chip in her head stands with her eyes closed, rocking back and forth. She looks so frail that a light breeze might knock her over, but she somehow stays on her feet, whether by coincidence or some kind of preternatural junkie awareness. She opens her eyes when you come near. I know you. Maybe by face, if not by name. I'm Plus Anchor. Name's Plus Anchor. Try to remember it. I'm Plus Anchor. Pleased to meet you, Miss. Yeah, I'll go there. Kim, which leads to Kimmy, which leads to Simmy. Huh? Kim, Kimmy, Simmy. Okay. Simmy Kim is what most people call me. They think I don't know why, but I do. Monica explained. Oh, The Sims. I do apologize. How do you feel about Monica's death? So what have you been up to? The girl absently fingers the chipjack in her temple. I wanted to escape with the children and the captain. We had to get away from the soldiers out of Austria. But it was wrong, all wrong. I was taking them over the mountains, but it was the wrong way. I know it was. It would have taken us straight into Germany, not Switzerland. We should have taken the train, gone to Italy. They would have been safe. Okay, so I could be wrong. Sounds like a world war that she's taking a sim. Like, I forgot what they're called, but the chips. Austria, I'm not good. I don't really remember all of my world history. But it sounds like it. Maybe World War One, possibly? I'm not sure. I didn't want to end badly, so I turned it off. Zach sold me something new. In it, I feel strong. I have a son, and he's destined to save the world. I have to protect him because the machines have come back to kill him before he can become a man. I just understood what dream. Okay, so that is the Terminator. She kind of looks like Sarah Connor. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I won't let it happen because in there I'm strong. Though Kimmy's words are bold, her trembling voice and body betrays someone aching for a fix. How do you feel about Monica's death? Kim hugs her arms close to her body, sad. She never got to have a family. She never get married, never be a mother. Wow. The important things coming from a person who's on drugs. I hope that any woman who wants to be a mother gets a chance to be a mother. I want to be a dad one day. Seems she was a mother to the whole cruise bazaar. She was a runner, no time for such things. Did you think of her as a mom? Boom. Let's hit that right there. That seems like it's, yeah, let's hit her up like that. Let's talk real talk. Maybe. Never knew my own. And Monica did take care of me. Wow. Monica said a mother is always a mother. Always. She hugs herself tighter and stares blankly at the ground. Okay. That was interesting. I think that guy down here. No, that guy. He's a drug dealer. I don't really got much to say to drug dealers. How's my supply? I need to sell these. Okay, cool. Anyone else I can talk to along the way? Nope, can't talk to him. He's the guy, so I got cash, but I only want to sell my stuff. Well, I have a lot of guns. I don't need that, or that. I don't need that. Okay. Got a little small profit going on. And I'll talk to the the drug dealer, because it looks like I got some drugs I can sell his way. He could do something with them. Show me what you got, Flash. Alright, you can take that. And the jazz. Yeah, might as well sell these as well. You might need them. And I can sell that too. Alright. So we talked to some nice people. We're going to get back here. We're going to talk to Paul Amzo, see what he has to say. We're going to go straight to him. No time for dilly-dallying. Yo, Paul. Amso calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued to his computer's display. Plus Anchor, Frau Muller should be on her way, but before you go to the meeting site, I have news. He glances at you. His words trail off. Upon seeing the expression on your face, Amso's voice becomes grave. It can wait. Tell me what happened. I had some trouble in the U-Bahn. Someone set up an ambush. Nothing much. Got attacked by a bunch of idiots who didn't know who they were messing with. They lost. Bad news, my friend. Somebody's hunting us. I'm not sure which one of these I would do. I wouldn't say bad news. I would just let them know. I had some trouble. Yeah, that sounds more like this character. I had some trouble. Paul Amsel pauses, then gives a curt nod. Truth be told, I've been expecting that something like this might happen. I'm just glad that you made out alive. He hands hand over an encrypted PDA. One of the attackers dropped this. Amsel takes the PDA from you and examines it. Yes. I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few moments later, he lets out a grunt of dismay. Well, Plus Anchor, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately, that's all that I'll ever be able to pull off this thing. All that anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Amso disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the ground. It clangs to the rest of the metal floor. What did you manage to pull off? I'm not going to curse. So, what did you manage to pull out of it? A comm file. The audio is all there, but it looks like we've only got the video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file. A nightmarish familiar face appears on screen. Bachmeyer. The voice leaks out of Amsel speakers, fills the room. Adrian here. What's your status? Bachmeyer's image is garbled, but his voice sounds younger and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted him on the U-Bahn, just like you said, probably on his way to a job. As per your instructions, we're going to try to take him out on his way back. He'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured, low on ammo too. But only time will tell. Good man, proceed as instructed. Will do. Kosman is rigging up the ambush spot now. Excuse me. Try to make it quick. The orc with the nightmarish face nods. Send me a comm when the job's done. Adrian out. I think that's it. Adrian. I said Adrian, but Adrian out. The image on the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance, Plus Anchor. I suspect that Green Winter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Furschwing is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating at him. Be on guard. You and the rest of your team, you made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face. We'll be fine. Yeah, let me just go straight to it like I heard him, but I didn't hear him. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence. And coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I'd dig into Adrian's skin grafts. Well, I did, and the search has finally bore fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls open the file on his computer. A medical chart opens up on the screen. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once. What did he say? Well, they're rather light on the identification information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Musterman, a local equivalent of a John Doe. But they do cover his injuries in great detail. Adrian's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis, and he had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most darningly of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionized radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterwards remains a mystery. He pauses for a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I like to hear everything that comes to mind. Well, those burns sound like dragon fire, but if the fire wing burned Adrian, why would he be working for her now? Boom, that's the first thing I thought about. I don't think that Adrian is working for the fire wing. I believe that he is serving her. On Green Winter's second DVD, he mentions that there is a cult within the Sox that worships the fire wing, the Disciples of the Cleansing Fire. I believe that Adrian belongs to this cult. What difference would that make? That's bad news. There's nothing more dangerous than a zealot. Hey, I'm zealous for my Jesus, and I'm not dangerous. Heh. Let's talk about what difference would that make. In my experience, a zealot is unlikely to shed his allegiance to his goddess, even if that loyalty comes at great personal cost. So it is possible that Adrian is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of the other information that we've uncovered. Did any other red flags jump out at you? The hospital couldn't ID Adrian. Either somebody's covering his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Let's go with that. Which is highly possible in this Shadowrun era. A lot of people live off the grid, which means that they don't have sins or serial ID number. Sin. I love how they just play with that. People who are doing things wrong are called sinless. And people who are doing things by the book have sins. They thought this was funny. Yeah, but I appreciate it. Indeed, if Adrian were a denizen of the Sox, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Amsel adjusts his glasses. It's a working theory at any rate. So, one way or another, Adrian is off the books, either due to living off the grid or a cover-up after the fact. Do you have another takeaway to share? He might have spent some time in the Sox. The radiation poison didn't happen on its own. Agreed. 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how he'd have absorbed that much ionized radiation without spending time in the Sox. So, to sum it up, Adrian has probably spent time in the Sox. It's possible he's even lived there as a member of the Fire Swing Dragon cult, and he's after you. Amsel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Claire, and we need to do it fast. Agreed. To heck with him, I'm gonna... No. I could act like I don't know why I would need to find him. No, I'm gonna go with agreed. Good. And that's all the more reason to gather, Alice's fee as quick as possible. There's a buzzing sound from Paul's wrist. He lifts his hand to look at his PDA. And as luck would have it, it's Fran Miller. Fran Miller has arrived. Best of luck at the meeting, plus Anchor. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. Yeah, I'm on it. Okay. I am going to talk to my people real quick. Hey, boss. Dietrich gives you a slight nod. What can I do for you? How you holding up? You seem to take Donica's death harder than the others did. Dietrich shakes his head and a wistful expression on his face. Nah, no harder. But I'm less buttoned up than the others are. Iger will never let herself show any weakness, and Glory, well, she's too full of chrome to feel much of anything. Me, I don't give a darn. I've spent too much time of my life putting on a show for others. What do you mean by that? I used to front a band, a punk band, way back when. Believe it or not, I spent a pretty good chunk of my life on stage. Whenever we weren't playing, I was living up to our fans' expectations, spouting off, getting into fights, getting drunk, getting laid. Not a bad life, all things considered. What was your band called? Maybe I've heard of it. How did you go from fronting a band to running in the shadows? Any thoughts on the last run you'd like to share? Wait a second, you can sing? I can't sing, so well, I can hold a melody, but sometimes it's just not great, so Ooh, I tried. So I really can't sing, so. Wait a second, you can sing? He regards you with a cynical, critical eye. I was the front man of the punk band, boss. Heck no, I can't sing. He grins, but I wasn't half bad at riling up the crowd. What was the band called? Maybe I heard of it. Oh, I doubt it, boss. We never really got any airplay. So you played at gigs, you lived the life, but you never got good? Spill it out, old man. Oh, come on, Dietrich, tell me. All right, boss, if you insist. The band was called Messerkamp, spelled just like it sounds, in big capital letters with an exclamation point. We weren't a big act or anything. We sold a few records here and there, toured around Europe. I mean, that sounds big if you're touring. I mean, to me. There was a song that the melody stuck in my head, and I usually don't give praise to, well, for those of you who may find this later on, because I know pretty much no one's looking right now, but it may come out later on. My dad taught me one thing when I was younger, that black men can date any race because black goes with anything. Ha 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 ha. It was kind of cool. However, I was always scared of Caucasian women because they possibly could lie on me, either one way or the other. It could be they want me to do something that I don't want to do, or they will lie that I did something that I didn't. And so I would always be a little bit frightened. However, there was a woman Caucasian, could have been European, I don't know. I thought she was very pretty. She sung a song called Listen to Your Heart. So there was a video about it. I think it's early 80s, something like that. Anyway, she looked hyper feminine. She was on stage in this like Coliseum type thing, place full of people. and she stood on stage barefoot, like she just reeked of feminine beauty. But I'm scared. I was always scared. I would be always wondering, could my life end? And so, that's, to me, I'm thinking that this woman toured, and I thought she would be famous. Well, she is famous. She's done a lot. I don't remember her name because I'm not good with, being a fanboy of anything. I know pretty much the substance of what it is I'm looking for, like if it's anime. I know the voice actors by what I can hear, but I don't know their name. So anyway, so this guy toured around Europe. I thought it'd be pretty famous from that. We had a decent following in England, and we holed up in London from 31 to 36. That's pretty good. Spent most of our time slumming it around the East End and picked up enough Cockney to irritate the folks back home. I don't know what this word is. I hope it's not something bad because I said it. But anyway, he shakes his head. Truth be told, the whole chapter of my life is a bit of a blur. We didn't do it for the fans or the fame, and we sure as didn't care about the money. All that mattered to us was staying young and drunk and angry. Okay. He takes a moment to examine his gnarled hands and a sad smile on his face. We managed a second to. Good God. Where's the time gone? Dietrich shakes himself from his revelry and looks back up at you. That familiar, easy grin returns to his face. Well, anyway, boss, everything ends eventually. I washed my hands, and I washed my hands of all this years ago. So let's change the subject if you don't mind. How'd you go from fronting the band to running in the shadows? Was it a big leap, as you'd think? I already had a healthy disrespect of authority, and I had the magic to back it up. One nice thing about shamanism, as long as you keep your idol happy, it doesn't matter what else you do. The Dragon Slayer chose me to be a servant, and as long as I was scrapping with someone bigger than me, he didn't much care whether I did it on stage or in the shadows. Tell me about Dragon Slayer. He shrugs. Not much to tell. He chose me when I was a kid. I could always feel him in my heart, goading me. So laugh louder, hit harder, and get rowdier than the rest. Of course, my family didn't understand, but the heck with them. I thought I knew that I was destined for greater things. So I listened to him, and I cracked the skulls of a lot of bad people. He saw this and was pleased, and he rewarded me with magic, and I used that magic to crack bigger, thicker skulls, and so on. He shrugs. It's a simple life, but a good one. Any thoughts on the last run? There was nothing about that run that didn't disgust me. What they did to that troll, he shudders. It wasn't right, boss, on any level. Look, I get why you handed over the MK6 over. It was a job after all. But I've been a lot happier if you'd killed that thing. So this is what he nods at you. Take it easy, boss. So this is what I was talking about last time. So, we're Shadowrunners. We do bad things in the first place. We break in, we steal stuff, we kill people, drugs are involved. None of these games have exploited the sex aspect of it, which I like. It kind of keeps it kind of wholesome, but not really. But they get upset when you do something that is in slavery. You would kill a person, but enslaving someone is bad. I feel them on it. If they wasn't doing all the rest of this stuff, then I would understand how they truthfully feel. But as is, nah. Bear with me one brief moment. Just want to check something. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Thank you for for that. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing a snafu like last time. Anyway, as you approach, Iger turns to face you. Her rifle has been field strapped and is lying in pieces on the sheet of butcher paper. Arranged in a neat row along the edge of the paper are bottles of copper solvent, board cleaner, and lighter fluid. Looks like she's about to clean that bad boy. Our fearless leader, return. What do you need? I'd like to hear about your time in the KSK. She shakes her head. No, I'm not in the habit of sharing war stories, plus anchor. Not with people who've never served. What do you think? I wouldn't understand. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a war story. I just want an idea of who I'm running with. She looks up at you. She looks you in your eye for a moment, evaluating. Finally, she shrugs. All right, plus anchor, you win. So she is supposed to have like this kind, gentle, softer voice. I really wish I could hear just like one soundbite from her, because she just looks all ferocious. She reeks of masculine energy. Not how most want their men. Most want their women. I owe everything to my time in the KSK, from my name on down. So you tell me what you want to know, and we'll see how it goes. Tell me how you got your street name. Back when I was in basic training, a fellow recruiter made a vulgar joke at my expense. He said that I reminded him of the north face of the Eiger and the Bernese Alps, huge and beautiful, but dangerous to climb. His tone left a little doubt as to the sort of climbing he had in mind. I think that he was trying to proposition me in his clumsy way, poking me in front of the other recruits to try to provoke a reaction. She shrugs. Anyway, he got one. I broke 3 of his ribs, and the name stuck. Wow. So that's what makes it really tough to be a male when it comes to the men being the one to pursue the women. You don't know which way is right or wrong. So in some spheres, some men would say that if the man was, looked a certain way or had a certain amount of money, she wouldn't react so fiercely. But looking at a lot of military movies, which most likely military movies in real life are completely different, how some of the men act in these movies, if he acted that particular way, that kind of vulgar, then I can actually understand why she would react like that way. But she actually had a hint in her mind that he could have been propositioning her, which could have meant that, he kind of liked her. She was tall and beautiful, but she cracked his ribs instead. I don't know. So I know a lot of men are withholding themselves from talking to women now, and it's because of you don't know what type of woman you're going to get. So what may work on one woman, what doesn't work on the next woman, and you might be tired of being rejected. So it's kind of hard. It's touchy. Some will say, well, the men's got to keep pushing, and the men is like, the heck no. I know a lot of men who are now retreating into stuff like just playing their video games or just bettering themselves, and possibly looking to going where women are more feminine instead of masculine. Anyway, I can say serves them right. I'm going to joke around with her and say, remind me never to proposition you. So you overreacted then, as usual. So I'm not going to do that. Serves him right. I'm not going to do that as well, because I don't know. I'm a me person. Oh, this character's not like me. So personally, I would make a joke You know, remind me not to proposition you. Because there's nothing wrong with her face. You know, she looks, I mean, I don't know. If she didn't have the lipstick on, I guess I would think this was a guy. So, could be. And these goggles probably covers the top portion of her face so you don't know what her brow looks like. It could add a more feminine charm, but I don't know. So I'm a joke because I think I could pull this off with this character. Remind me of a proposition. That type of thing. Not like he really means it. A frown crosses her face. Either you're trying to be cute or you've completely missed the point. Neither would surprise me. Okay. I didn't break his ribs because he propositioned me, plus anchor. I'm not a savage. I put that recruit down because he demeaned me, and he did it in front of our peers. Yeah, it makes sense. Didn't have to. Wow, okay. And so you got angry and you attacked him. That about right? I'll cry you a river. You'll react it. Calm down, I was just joking. Funny. That's exactly what the recruit said as he was being dragged off to the medic tent. It was just a joke. I didn't mean anything by it. I was never reprimanded by the top brass, though. I knew what I knew. Whatever the recruit's intent, he put me in a situation that required a response. All right, I'll let her win because I really don't care. You might mean that, or you could just be trying to de-escalate the situation. You darn right I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. Men want peace. You tell me, fearless leader. You want to hear what I did, or would you rather I just drop it because there are plenty of other things that I could be doing right now? Yeah. Tell me about it. All right, I will. As soon as that idiot made his little joke, it was a foregone conclusion that I was going to get saddled with the nickname Iger. My only choice in the matter was whether it happened under his terms or under mine. If I hadn't broke that guy's ribs, the name Iger would have meant a difficult sexual conquest to a whole barrack full of recruits. That's what I've been. That's what I would have been to them. From that point on, my own accomplishments be darned. Thanks to what I did, my new name meant a troll who doesn't take crap from anyone. Instead, it's a name I'm proud to go by, and I've hung on to it ever since. Kind of weird. Anyway, Iger pauses for a moment, then looks you in the eye. A word of advice to you, plus anchor. If anyone ever puts you in that position that he put me in, if he demeans you in front of your unit, whatever his intent, the appropriate response will be put that person down hard. Out on the field, nothing will kill you faster than losing the respect of your team. By that logic, I should have broken your ribs after Monica died. In your place, I would have. You woman's stupid. My God would have beat the crap out of you, and you would have been, oh, I like him because he hit me. Oh, goodness. She looks you up and down, appraising you. Now that you've succeeded, not that you would succeed if you tried, but in terms of saving face, it would have done wonders. Yo, I don't care how troll you are, woman, you would beat the crap out of you. In all seriousness, plus anchor, I'm sorry that I put you in that position. I shouldn't have, and I acknowledge that. Need anything else, or can I get back to prepping for the next run? Who's in command? Metzer, best leader I've had the pleasure of serving under. Her face clouds. He was a heck of a man. But he went down with the rest of the team. Everyone but me. Tell me about the team. She nods. Fair enough. I guess you've earned it. There were 8 of us. Two commando squads working together as a single unit. Schmidt and Lang were combat deckers. Wolf was our rigger and combat engineer. Fisher handled demolitions. Braun was a medic. And the rest of us, Metzer, Kruger, and myself were weapon experts. Our mission was extraterritorial. Wow! Technically legal, but important enough to justify the risk. So if anyone, well, you could just simply look it up in this day and age, but extraterritorial means that the entity functions over its own governing rules on its property. So the Shadowrun world, pretty much they're run by corporations, AAA corporations, and whatever happens on the AAA corporation's territory is their own law. They're pretty much their own country when you're on their property. So there's not much that anyone can do. Okay. We've been sent across the border into Poland. The Russian mafia had set up a cottage industry in human trafficking all along the Oder-Neisse line, and it's our job to disrupt it. That sounds more like a police action than military operation. Wouldn't the GSG usually handle that kind of thing? Typically, yes, but in recent years, the Russian mob had become more and more heavily militarized. The brass decided that they posed enough danger to the region to qualify as a terrorist threat, and that brought them under our purview. Anyway, we were a good team. Experience, we went through a lot together, and we chalked up a lot of skills. In our own way, I like to think that we did some good. What happened to the team? She shakes her head. No, that's one story that I won't be telling. They died. That's all you need to know. All right, thanks, Iger. So, was there anything else that you want to get to, or can you get back and clean your rifle? Yeah, what about the last one? I'm not going to lie, Plus Anchor. This one's going to stick with me for a while. What they did to that troll was sick. On paper, you did everything right. We did our job to the letter. The client got paid, and everyone went home happy. But between you and me, I wish that we could have put that poor creature down. The MK6 was a real live person once, just like you and me, and we handed him over to Herr Schmidt like a piece of merchandise. This one's going to sit with me for a while. Yeah, it should. Sure thing, fearless leader. Good talk. All right, one more chat. Glory. Now, Glory looks feminine, besides the, chrome that's laced her body. And the red eyes. The red eyes reminds me of one of the women in Coming to America when Eddie Murphy was trying to find a wife, and she said she worshipped Satan. That's what those red eyes remind me of. It's not just the red eyes, it's the hue of red around the eyes. It's like, I'm thinking something really dark is going to be with her. I haven't played this in a long while, so I kind of forgot. But I think it kind of goes down that dark path. Anyway, for the first time since you met Glory, from the first time you met her, Glory's expression seems to brighten. And it's subtle, but it's there. You're sure of it. Plus Anchor, a pleasure, as always. Need anything of me? Wow, how are you doing, Glory? If I didn't know better, I think you were warming up to me. She studies your face for a moment before responding. I suppose that you might say that. I don't talk to many people, Plus Anchor. It just doesn't seem to be worth the effort. I don't really feel much anymore. Not since. She cases the chrome of her forearms. She caresses the chrome of her forearms with her hand made of articulated steel. If that's true, why are you still talking to me? I suppose it's because you've shown an interest and because you haven't let me push you away. Wow. That's good. If a person shared their traumatic experience with you in talking, does that push you away if it's something that you're not used to dealing with or something that's beyond you? Let me know in the comments. She locks eyes with you. Her expression is blank. Excuse me. I don't want to mislead you, Plus Anchor. I still don't feel anything. Not warmth or friendship or even trust. But I can appreciate the effort you're making. It's something new and it's worth exploring. Well, how are you doing? Golden as always, Plus Anchor. No problem here. Are you ready to tell me about the chrome you're sporting? You said that things were bad when you turned 14. I'd like to keep talking about that. No, I'd rather not. Why not? Because I don't see a reason to. The memories are unpleasant, and dredging them up doesn't serve any real purpose. You're wrong about that. The last time we talked, it had an impact on you. That's reason enough to continue. She pauses a moment to consider your words. A troubled look on her face. I suppose that's true. Feeling discomfort is better than feeling nothing at all. Really? I feel bad for saying it then. I never want to make a lady feel uncomfortable. Alright, here's the deal, Plus Anchor. I'm going to talk, you're going to listen. When I'm done, I am done. No complaints and no arguments. And we'll see what happens. Deal? Deal. Right. 1,000-meter stare creeps back into Glory's eyes. The moments later, she's locked away in her own head again, reliving memories that she's long since filed away. So, a few days after my 14th birthday, I began to express magically. Judging from what I saw of your aura, yeah, I'm not going to say that. You're magically active. Should have figured that you were burnt out. That's why you were nuts with the discounted chrome. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say magically active because right now she's just like full of chrome. I was. Glory gestures at the cyberware riddled her body. Not anymore. There's another long pause and Glory becomes more animated. Anyway, I turned 14. I awakened. I don't even remember I don't even remember how my parents found out about it anymore. I think that my dad caught me playing with a tiny city spirit that I coaxed out of a pile of garbage, something like that. With everything that happened afterward, those days, kind of a blur. What I do remember is my father's response to the revelation that his little girl was a witch, a hexie. He beat the living crap out of me with his fists, and then his belt, and then a claw hammer that he grabbed out of his toolbox. What kind of father is this? This type of stuff right here makes me want to like find the person and beat them almost to death, so that they can heal and I can do it again. Because what in your mind? So, all right, here's the thing that I don't like about, this is kind of a writing trope. And I hate these writing tropes because they never portray, or I've probably given up on, reading and getting into the types of novels, books, stories, shows, or anything that portrays religious people, correctly. Yes, we all have flaws, but we're not so zealous that we're going to beat our kids because they're not doing what God's word says. Chastisement must come. The Bible says, him who he loves, he does chasten. However, it's for the benefit, and it says, train up a child while there is still hope, because there comes a time period that after a certain period of time, your training, your chastisement won't do much. So you do it when they're young, impressionable, you get them at a good age, you can mold them correctly so that they can live out. We're talking about virtues here. And because someone doesn't live up to those, you don't retaliate to kill them. Anyway. Um, all the while, my mother was screaming and flailing at him. She took a couple of licks with the hammer, too. It's a miracle you survive. This right here is probably me. What about the neighbors? Anyone call the police or the prosecutors? I think this is the police and security, something like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with this one because this is how it. It's a common sentiment, believe me, but I appreciate the thought. So finally, after what felt like an hour, Dad stopped tuning me with the hammer. I had broken ribs, a busted arm. I couldn't see out of my left eye, and my entire right side was covered with one giant bruise. I was bleeding all over the place, making a real mess of the carpet. The old man spat on me. His bleeding, crying daughter, he spat on me and told me that I was the Dees Two-Face Hair, the devil's whore. Then he kicked me out of the house. I think if my child begins to use something magical, I would be intrigued and wondering how did they get that unique ability and not me. And I would try to cultivate it so that they won't, be bad. As I was crawling away, my father told me that if he or his any of his cruise riders brothers ever saw me again, that they'd treat me as the Berlin chapter treats the enemies of God. If you're not familiar with how the people here in Berlin deal with heretics, it's decidedly less pretty than what my dad and his buddies did to their victims. I got the hint, and the next morning I hitched a ride out of the Stuttgart. You were a human girl, presumably with an ID. Why didn't you go to the hospital? Gutsy move. You were a smart kid. Go on, Glory. Because they would turn him back. They would turn her back into her parents. That's probably why. Because if she went to the hospital, they're going to check out and find out who the parents were, and then I don't know, incriminate the father. Man. I wouldn't say she's gutsy. I mean, she probably just did what she had to do, knowing what would happen if she was sent back. So I won't even say that. I'm gonna just say go on. I wound up in Tübingen. I figured it'd be safe enough. It'd be a safe enough place to find medical attention and maybe to call home. It's not far from the Stuttgart, but it was a huge student community that figured I could blend in too, and the university there had decent magic departments. Okay, cool. My ride dropped me off at the university hospital, and they patched me up pretty good. Had some questions for me about how I got beaten up, but I lied and told them that I'd been bugged, which played nicely into my complete lack of cash, credits, and identification. Okay, she is kind of smart. Glory paused for a moment and looked down at the floor, then fixes her eyes on you. She is visibly tense. We're going to fast forward through the next few years. I was a kid on the streets. I got by as best as I could, doing whatever I had to. The rest we can leave up to your imagination. Good. You did what you had to. I'm no stranger of that myself. I don't think of anyone working in the shadows is. Of course, I only need to hear what you're comfortable telling me about, nothing more. Boom! This is me. This character, personal skills would be much more like me, less comedic, but yeah, this is me. Only what you want to tell me. Good. Glory's clenched jaw relaxes somewhat, and the tension drains out of her shoulders. Thanks. I am kind of fearful to stare at women this intently to get all of these details, because I don't want to be considered, I don't want anyone thinking that I have the hots for them. And for two, I don't want to. I just feels tense. I don't want them. Yeah, to be able to see a person's jaw relax. Yeah, that's a lot of staring. Anyway. So, anyway, I lived in the streets for a few years, got used to being hungry all the time, got used to getting rained on, got by. I was painfully aware that I had magical talents, but without any kind of training or guidance, I didn't really know how to use or develop them. Truth be told, they scared me, so I more or less ignored them. So it just sort of went like that until a few days after my 17th birthday. So 3 years. Then I met Marta, and everything changed. Marta was a sweet girl, and at first I took her for a street kid like me. Her clothes were a little ratty, and she seemed comfortable being near me, but she also looked well fed and happy, and those were two things that I hadn't been in years. We started hanging out, and before I knew what was happening, I was in love. I knew this was going to pop up somewhere. There was a genuine attraction between Marta and me, I think. And that's the problem. All these people who are running into these, as the Bible calls them, without natural affection type of situations, there's no adult to let her know that she just had a good friend. And you cannot you can't put the feelings or emotions that you have on a good friend as someone that you were supposed to be quote unquote lovers with. It's just, that's not how it goes. The Bible talks about David and Jonathan. They loved each other as their own soul. Their souls were knitted together, but both loved women. They didn't get it confused or twisted. Yo, this is my homeboy. I can be 100% at ease with my homeboy or my homegirl. And I think that a lot of people just misconstrue that. But there are no adults being adults to let them know the difference between the two. And there are even some adults who are confused about it because they have a camaraderie relationship that is better than any romantic relationship they've had with the opposite sex, and they think that they're supposed to be attracted to them. No, it's perversion. But I feel for them because it's going to be kind of hard, even if they want to come out of that. Now they have to struggle with separating from a person, putting them in a financial hardship and all that type of stuff. So can only pray for them and that God will make a way for both of them to really come to the knowledge of the truth about Jesus, because it starts with knowing Jesus first. I think there was a genuine attraction between Marta and me, I think. But I also think that a lot of my affection for her came from the fact that she was the first person in years to give a crap about me. She cared, and I loved her for that. See? And she can even attribute it to the things which she cared. I don't want to sound kind of like cocky, but for the people that I am a friend for, if they need me, I'm there. I will. I mean, if a friend needs me and it's dire, I will call out to be able to help them with whatever situation it is. Thank God that I have the time for it. I built up at work, but I'm that kind of friend. I'm a friend. And so if you got somebody who cares for you like that, yeah, I understand. It's I feel for the young people, and I feel for the older people who can't distinguish the two between a good friend and someone that they should genuinely be in a romantic relationship with. Anyway, Glory pauses. She looks flustered, her composure cracked. Keep going. She stares at you for a beat, then nods. A few ragged breaths later, she continues, Marta told me about a place where she had been hanging out. She invited me to join her there. It was called the Foresteller, the fireplace. And it was sort of a community for dispossessed youth. It turned out that a lot of the street kids I known over the years had moved there. The way that they had disappeared, I assumed that they were been kidnapped or killed or had gone back to their parents, but they were there. I remember being kind of angry about it, like, how did everyone get the memo about this but me? I like the fact that it could be the way that I'm reading it, but it does sound like she's kind of coming more alive. There is a image of well, not an image. There's a vocal pattern that I'm thinking when I'm thinking about Glory speaking, and I'm not sure if it's someone from Daria, but someone who was very monotone in the way they talk, and they really didn't have any emotion behind them. I don't know the character. Let me know in the comments if you do know. It could be from Daria. It could be from a different anime. I don't know, or a different show. I'll figure it out. Anyway, Marta calmed me down. She was good at helping me work through my feelings, and I wound up following her to the fireplace. To the street kids, it was basically paradise. The owner, a guy named Haro, had set up this little farm just outside Tübinger in the, Schronbuck Forest. The Schronbuck is officially a nature park, but not many people go there nowadays. Too much fear of paranormal animals, I guess. Makes sense. Anyway, park or not, it was plenty big enough. It was plenty big enough for us to hide in. It also was a safe and pretty, and the farm was well stocked with food. Most importantly, Firestellar gave us a sense of community and stability that we'd never had on the streets, and we loved Haro, we loved Haro for it. He became like a surrogate father to us. I don't like how this is going. Glory paused again, and you recognized the distinctive flush in her cheeks. Oh man, that'd be kind of cute. She seemed to have come out of her reverie once again. That's enough for now. I need to process all this, and I don't want to continue forward until I've had the chance to do that. I know that this all happened years ago, but I guess it's still pretty raw to me. So I'm going to ask you give me some space for a while. She turns away, and the frost begins to creep back into her voice. We can pick it up later. That's pretty cool, but I want to talk to you about our last mission. Any thoughts on the last one? A tinge of red crawls up her neck. Huh. Plus anchor, look at me. She extends her sculpted metal arms. Chromes glints in the flickering light. I'm not far from being what that poor troll was. When I think of what they did to him, she looks you in the eye, fixes you with her gaze. You handed him over, plus anchor, like a piece of merchandise, like a thing. We shouldn't have done that. I should have stopped you, but I didn't. And I don't like what that says about me. You too, Gloria. How are things? You know what? I'm happy, actually, for the first time in a long time, and I have you to thank for that. Okay. Cool. You too, plus anchor. Oh, she's kind of cheerful. Okay. All right, I want to check with the Freund Miller lady. And I think I'll call it night after that. I think she's up here. Arrow's pointing up here. Because I told her, I told her I'd meet her here. Oh. She looks kind of vampirish. I want to see if she turns it around. She does. I wanted to get, her shoes looks nice. But it's kind of cold, so I don't really think. Well, maybe if she drove here, it'd be kind of warm, and then she would be out here in a little bit, and then she'd get back. So maybe some women fancy looking nice over comfort, which I consider as admirable. You would want to take more care of that particular person because they're, well, especially if they're doing it for you. You know, you would want to take better care of those types of ladies because you want to protect them. But the ones who are in comfort, if they're comfortable, you know, there's not much to do. Or that could just be my mindset. I don't know. Set against the frozen cobblestone of the empty park, Fawn Miller looks entirely out of place. She suppresses a shiver and hugs herself for warmth. Oh, she looks plain. But she's a character, so there are probably no blemishes on her or anything like that. That could be makeup or stuff like that, which is, yeah, makeup is okay. I mean, the older I'm getting, the more I'm not liking makeup. Just take better care of yourself. Drink more water. That will clear up your skin. Take better care of your hair, especially for my African American ladies. Stop doing so much weave. Stop doing so many wigs, because when your wig looks healthier than the rest of your body, something looks off. And for the love of everything that is holy, what is going on with these eyelash things? Stop it. Who told the ladies that look good? Probably other ladies. Anyway, she appears, as Amsel described her, an impressive-looking woman of Aslander descent with coffee-colored skin and dark, wavy hair. Everything about her screams corporate executive, from her expensive-looking suit to her tastefully understated makeup. Also, she's got a little makeup on. That's pretty cool. She's obviously nervous, but she hides it well. She locks eyes with you and hesitates only slightly before speaking. Plus anchor, I presume. Herr Amsel told me that I could meet you here. He wasn't lying. He said that you had a job for me. She holds her silence for a moment, then nods. Yes, I do. In truth, I am in desperate need of your help. Tell me, what did you need? What did you need from Miller? She offers you a small smile, as assumed, an assumed name, obviously. But I have been told that this is how you people do business. This is precious. I can only imagine the pressure that's on her to, if she is corporate, to come to a person like a Shadowrunner, because, you know, she's risking her life, her livelihood, and everything. Okay, she straightens in her seat. Man, they didn't change this based upon the place that you meet her, because you can meet her at the bar or the cafe, and I think she's sitting there, but it's pretty cool. She straightens in her seat and tries a smile. It hangs there for a second, then fades away. She sighs. From my accent, you no doubt infer that I am an Aslander. Further, you may have guessed who I work for. If I had the etiquette, I would say as technology. Oh wow, that is like the biggest megacorps I remember back in the Sega Genesis game. You never wanted to tick them off because they would always pop. They was always pop up with like six, commando 6-men commando units shooting like rapid fire at your character, and they just fry you in a moment. I'm afraid I haven't. Care to fill me in? You tell me. I'm not in the business of guessing. Boom. I'm gonna be a little bit humble. As Technology, the only Aslan-based corporation operating in Germany. I've been with the company for over a decade. Over the course of my employment, I've worked on a great many of projects. From the innocent to the obscene, my hands have touched it all. Never once did I question the wisdom of our research. Never once did I consider blowing the whistle on my employers. I kept my nose down, worked hard, and excelled at the task set before me. Oh, she has good work ethic. They must love you there. Yeah, I get it. Keep talking. Just take it. They must love you there. No more than the other employees, but my commitment and work ethic were recognized, and I ascended the corporate ladder fairly quickly, which brings me to where I am today. Does she have a cat or a dog? Anyway, last month I was transferred here from my home in Technochelon. They told me that an employee of my caliber was needed in Berlin, and that I would be working on a project with wide-reaching applications. The only other detail that I was given was the name of the project, Bloodline. Ugh, that doesn't sound good. She looks you in the eye, and for the first time, you can see the cracks in her composure. She is doing a good job of she's doing a good job of hiding it, but deep down, this woman is terrified. I've seen many terrible things in my life, plus Anchor. And that particularly, and this bloodline is commonplace. I'm sorry, blood magic is commonplace. Take a moment to imagine what that means. It's an underground market. In the underground markets, people are brought and sold as chattels. Street children are rounded up and bled like lambs. I witnessed all these things by the age of 12. She takes a deep breath, then lets it out slowly. Seeing such things, it changes you, makes you numb. But what I found when I arrived here was worse. This project, it horrifies me, plus Anchor, and it must be stopped. Tell me everything you know about Bloodline. She shakes her head. The less that you know, the better for both of us. You'll just have to trust me on that. You only need to know is that it is evil, and that it is not a word that I use lightly. If you won't tell me what this bloodline is, how do you expect me to stop it? Evil is a childish term for Miller. There are no such things as good and evil, black or white. The sooner you nope, definitely that's not me. You have to understand, I can't accept a job without knowing what that entails. All right, fine. Boom. Let's go with this one. This is the more rational one when it comes to getting a job, because I know she's out here to do a job, and she's scared. Of course not. Your job will be relatively simple. I want you to bring the building down. What? The computers, the research data, the mages, the scientists that are working to bring about this abomination, I want all of them burned to ashes and buried in rubble. No compromises and no exceptions. Her tone softens. I'm sure that you have unanswered questions. I'm not in the habit of dealing with Shadowrunners. In truth, I've spent the majority of my career living in fear of you people, but I do know that you're the only ones who get this done. So tell me, plus Anchor, is there anything more that you need to hear from me, or are you ready to make a decision? Paul Amsel is my representative in these matters. Why couldn't you tell all this to him? I had to meet you in person to look into your eyes and see the man behind the name. Now that I've done so, I am sure you're the one that I need. So that's kind of weird. So she probably heard me, heard about my characters, probably in Shadowland, which is their version of the internet, known what I've done, and she wants to see me in person, but she's terrified of me. So I'm not sure if they did this for scripting purposes, you know, just to write up a story. But I don't see a corporate person doing that, because she would have to leave some type of trail that would lead others to, you know that she was looking. So it's kind of weird. Anyway, naturally, I will send any further information about the job to Herr Amsel, provided, of course, that you accept. I'm not going to ask about the innocent people in the building, because I think she's most likely going to tell me that no one in that particular project is innocent. I'm not a demolition expert, Foreman. How do you expect me? No, I'm a Shadowrunner. I can get it done. What can you tell me about building security? That's probably what I want to know. Expect it to be tight. In addition to their standard security team, as technology has taken out a Knight Errant's high threat response team contract to project the building, corporate doesn't seem to mind contracting a competitor for emergency response services. That would give you some indication as to the uniqueness of this project. At any rate, I believe that I've come up with a solution to the Knight Errant problem. I'll discuss the matter with your Herr Hamsel if you decide to take the job. Okay, that is one thing that I do want to bring up because it is kind of hitting us currently. We are running to situations with the police. Police is not being able to do stuff timely, or they're not. Stuff seems to be wrong with the police. Either, there are people who are getting paid, they're not working. They don't have enough people to actually do the crimes. The laws are written so that the people who are getting confiscated or being released really early, that type of thing. So Shadowrun's fix for that is that security has been privatized. It is no longer in the hands of the government, it is in the hands of private organizations who their job is to only get the job done. Now, I've only seen a few security, companies pop up recently, and it became like, wow, some of the stuff that's in this type of video game may actually be here in real life in the next few years, where the governmental police may be taken over by the private sector, because the private sector may be able to do a better job because they would be run by results instead of tax dollars. So it might be interesting to see in the future, but anyway, let's talk compensation. 36,000 new yen. As I told Herr Amsel, this is what I have. That's what I have allocated for the job. That's fair. It's better than fair. I've done my homework plus Anchor. I reached a decision. I'll take it. Okay. Her face visibly brightens. In that case, it's a deal. I can't tell you how relieved I am plus Anchor. Thank you for helping me to bring this nightmare to an end. I will iron out the remaining details with your Herr Amsel. He'll want to talk this over with you anyway, I'm sure. You're a good man plus Anchor. You're saving more lives than you know. Okay, so interesting. Why do I have 3? Oh, 2 places to go, and then okay. So, all right. Well, you know the deal. This is your last piece of entertainment, which I do hope it is. I hope that you'll spend this time in doing something a little bit more beneficial for you. Whether it's doing that thing that you like to do, whatever that thing may be. You could be trying to finish a book. You could be trying to learn how to build a house from scratch. What was that? You could be learning how to do a lot of things. You could be learning how to cook nutritious meals. You could be learning how to exercise. You could be doing a lot of things. But whatever it is, I hope you'll take some time to do some of those things to benefit yourself, to make yourself a more rounded individual. And as always, this is your boy, Legend Muyui, out.